And I said, I think he's going to love it. He loved it so much that we received funding for the next year's excavation and the excavations for years onwards. He saw it as part of the UAE's history, this tolerance of ideas. And then we spread our wings. 2,000 years ago, I hope this is a wow to you, sailors from the UAE were reaching China, and it's there in the Chinese records. When the Portuguese raided the UAE at the beginning of the 16th century, cutting the noses off people and all sorts of other fairly dastardly acts, and built fortresses like this one at Khor Fakkan. From Khor Fakkan, the UAE was exporting horses to India. Now, some of you, you're not far from Newmarket here, some of you have seen some of the great Arabian horses. 500 years ago, we were exporting horses to India, the ancestors of today's Arabians. My closing thing, that besides the innovation and the trade and the ideas, yes, we had another impact within the region. And that was that the UAE had a power, or powers within the UAE had the ability to influence surrounding areas. This is a nice painting of the British shelling Ras Al Khaimah in 1819, when the UAE first came within the political orbit of Britain in India. And why did they bother? Why did they feel impelled to do so? Because the Al Qawasim of Ras Al Khaimah and Sharjah, which are two of the emirates that today make up the UAE, could put over 60 big ships to sea. It's estimated they had as many as 18,000 sailors, and they could raid or engage in conflict as far away as India and East Africa. So there's a bit more to the UAE than desert and camels and sand. And 20 minutes is, even 25, is not enough for me to tell enough of the story to satisfy me. But I hope I've given you something to think about, and I hope there's a little bit of wow factor in it for you. Thank you very much.